Hey there, and thanks for joining me for today's First Five. Today we're looking at Matthew chapter 9, and this might be a story that you're familiar with because it is seen throughout the Gospels, at least in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. It's the story of the paralyzed man and the healing that Jesus brings. So let's take a look at it. Matthew chapter 9, verses 1 through 8 say this. Jesus stepped into a boat, crossed over, and came to his own town. Some men brought to him a paralytic lying on a mat. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, "Take heart, son, your sins are forgiven." At this, some of the teachers of the law said to themselves, "This fellow is blaspheming." Knowing their thoughts, Jesus said, "Why do you entertain evil thoughts in your hearts? Which is easier, to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up and walk'? But so that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." Then he said to the paralytic, "Get up, take your mat, and go home." And the man got up and went home. When the crowd saw this, they were filled with awe, and they praised God who had given such authority to men. So what we do know here is that this man who's paralyzed, we definitely know that. But we don't know is what caused his paralysis. So old Jewish thinking would have said that he must have done something sinful, and because of that sin, caused him to be paralyzed. So we see in the Gospel of John where the blind man is brought to Jesus, and the disciples say, "Who sinned? Was it this man, or was it his parents?" And Jesus responds by saying, "Neither." It wasn't necessarily sin that caused that man's blindness, just like it doesn't necessarily mean that sin caused the man we see here in Matthew's Gospel to be paralyzed. Even if it's not the cause, with this paralyzed man, we do know that sin does play a role in his condition. He's not moving, maybe because of depression or guilt or shame, sin, or being far from God. It's definitely bogged him down, literally making him unable to move. And we all know that when we don't move, our bodies start to shut down a little bit every day. So this guy has some friends, and these friends have great faith in Jesus and his authority. They fully believe that Jesus would be able to heal their friend. So they carried him to Jesus. I'm not sure whether the paralyzed man wanted to go or if the friends kind of took it upon themselves to just do it. But the friends had confidence in Jesus to work on behalf of their friend. So they did it anyway, and he did. Jesus healed him. I love how he says, "Take heart, son, your sins are forgiven." So here, that word forgiven means sent away. The sins are forgotten forever. This is true forgiveness. This is the kind of forgiveness that allows us to give over our sin, allows Jesus to deal with it, and he won't throw it back in our face later. And when our sin is dealt with like this, we know that resurrection, the rising of the dead, isn't too far behind. And that's exactly what happened here. The faith of a man's friend brought him to Jesus with full confidence that he would be able to do something for their friend. The faith of these friends helped to introduce this man to new life through Jesus. And Jesus said, "Get up and walk." Or maybe, "Get up and live." So maybe today you feel like the paralyzed man. Maybe you're being held back by your fear or guilt or sin, and you aren't sure how to get moving again. Maybe you need to let your friends come alongside you and introduce you to Jesus and encourage you in this way. You need to hear the words, "You are forgiven. Now get up and walk." Or maybe today you feel like the friends in this story. Your faith is strong, and you believe that Jesus is able to forgive and heal and bring people back to life. Sometimes being a good friend means prompting our friends to do things, even when they don't want to. So when we know something or someone who can help them in a certain area of life, a good friend would definitely bring them to that thing or that person. William Barclay says it like this: "We cannot make a man a Christian, but we can do everything possible to bring a man into the presence of Jesus Christ." Let's help people encounter Jesus through our faith in knowing that he brings dead things back to life. He forgives sin in the forgotten forever kind of way. and he wants us to get up and walk. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow for another First Five.